Hey guys, welcome back again to Dave's Dimension. Welcome back again for another video. We're back again for another unboxing. I want to welcome you guys back to the Dimension. Welcome back to the channel where chaos and insanity reign supreme. So we're back again with a special unbox. Now, months ago, I heard that there was something special coming out. Anyone who's a fan of movies, especially the 90s through the early 2000s, if you like dark movies and dark action movies, sorry about that, guys. Let me silence that. Sorry about that. If you're a fan of action movies and dark action movies, and especially revenge movies, we have The Crow by Diamond Select Toys. Now, I had heard NECA might be doing something, but I don't officially know yet. But we have this special Crow deluxe action figure unboxing that we're going to do right now. Okay? Now, those who don't know The Crow is about a guitarist, lead singer and guitarist for a band. The character's name is Eric Draven. Now, Eric was an up-and-coming, aspiring musician. His band was a favorite around the bar scene. They were on the cusp of getting signed. But, like all musicians and bands, you don't have much money. So, he was living with his girlfriend and fiance in a very dilapidated, very seedy neighborhood in an apartment building. And, they just had very little, and they were doing what they could to scrape by. So, what happens is there is a seedy crime elements, criminal elements, if you will, and these people were being forced. These bad guys are going from building to building, apartment to apartment, trying to scare people out to moving. Well, Eric and his fiance were holdouts. They were holding out. They were trying to do what they can until they can get out of that area. And what happens is, Eric is brutally beaten and killed, thrown out their window, and he falls to his death. I'm not going to go into detail, but some tragic event happened to his girlfriend and fiance because he proposed to her. What happens is she is taken to a hospital and she dies at the hospital. Okay? There's some very, very dark themes, so I'm not going to go into details. So what happens is they had both died separately. A year later, Eric emerges from his grave. Not decomposed, not zombie-esque, but he suddenly crawls out of the grave. But this was hearkened by a crow, a dark bird, that is also viewed as a symbol of justice or vengeance, if you will. At least that's my takeaway from it. Okay? Well, the crow, the spirit of the crow, brings him back. And brings him back to get justice. Because until that justice is found, until that vengeance is reaped, his spirit cannot rest. Okay? Just like, you hear ghost stories where, there's unfinished business. And this is pretty much that. He comes back, but he just doesn't come back as Eric Draven. He finds that he is stronger. He's faster. He can do things that no mere mortal can do. He has these supernatural abilities where he can shoot pain into a person, psychically send them into their worst feeling imaginable. Share his pain with them, in other words. Kind of a Ghost Rider type story, if you will. He goes after all the people who killed him and his fiancée. He goes after them one by one by one, and even after the ringleader. Okay? It's an amazing story. It's an amazing movie. Now, this Eric Draven is portrayed by Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee was the son of Bruce Lee. That's right. Sadly enough, after while the movie was being made, Brandon Lee died. He died due to there's a lot of different theories and stories out there, guys. Brandon Lee died due to a shotgun blast. Now, supposedly, the shotguns that they were using were filled with blanks for certain shots and live ammo for other shots, okay? Somehow, blanks got switched for live, and he took shots straight to the chest, okay? Paramedics, doctors, they did everything they could, but they could not save him, okay? There's a lot of different theories out there. We're not going to discuss those right now, but there's a weird bit of similarity between him dying while making a movie and his father Bruce dying. Bruce Lee was the martial artist, let's be honest. He was the martial artist. I mean, he struck out. He had not a dime to his name when he came to the U.S. Fell in love with an American Caucasian girl, which was not something viewed acceptable back in the 50s and 60s. Okay? But he built his own business. He developed his own martial arts. And he became a rising movie and film star. But sadly, he as well died due to mysterious illness while making a movie. Some say this is the Lee family curse. But Brandon Lee was he was definitely his father's son. He had charisma. He had just this feeling that drew people towards him. He was working his way up in the action movies. He did a lot of B-action movies. One of the most notable ones, I think he was in one called Rapid Fire. He was one called Showdown in Little Tokyo, which co-starred Dolph Lundgren. It was kind of a buddy cop kind of a feel, but I mean, he was definitely his father's son. I mean, his skill, his focus, I mean, his charisma came on through the screen. Do yourself a favor, watch the movie The Crow, okay? Now, there are some sequels. They're not as great as the original story. There was even a live-action TV series in syndication. I believe it was in the late 90s or early 2000s, starring Mark Dacascos of Only the Strong, and also most recently of John Wick 3 fame. So that gives you a little bit more of an expanded story on the Crow universe. If you can find it on DVD or some streaming service, do yourself a favor and watch it. I mean, the Crow story itself, and also there's been a lot of talk about rebooting the Crow franchise. I think there's a lot of stigma around the content itself, especially with the loss of Brandon Lee way back when. But this is an amazing movie, an amazing soundtrack. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background on that. I apologize for rambling. I tend to do this, but this is one of my favorites. This is just one of my favorites, guys. So let's jump right in here. So we got Batblade. There we go. I'm actually going to save this box because I may want to put him back in and store him. Which I know is weird carrying that for me. Most of the time I am an out-of-box collector, so here we are. We got two plastic molds here holding all the accessories in. Now let's read the little quick synopsis here, guys, for you. I know we're already 9 minutes in, I apologize. But apparently I've spoken to people that have never seen or heard of this, so I want to give you guys a little background. The Crow is the tale of a young musician, Eric Draven, who along with his fiancée is murdered on the eve of their Halloween wedding. Exactly 1 year after their deaths, Eric is risen from the grave by a mysterious crow to seek out his killers and force them to answer for their crimes. The 7-inch action figure of Eric Draven is based on his appearance in 1994's The Crow and features over 16 points of articulation and character-appropriate accessories. Designed by Yuri Timing, spelled Tming, sculpted by Chris Dahlberg, Dahlberg. This is by Diamond Select Toys. So there you guys go. Get the nice little synopsis right there. The exact likeness of Brandon Lee. We got the Crow branding right there, Crow branding here, Crow branding here, and just there we go. So we're going to set this off to the side. Now, this item I actually did not find in a Walmart. I did not find in a Target. I did not find in your basic retail stores. I actually found this at a local toy shop here in Buffalo, New York, called That 80s Toy Store. That 80s Toy Shop. You want to look them up on Facebook. That 80s Toy Shop. They're a great shop for vintage toys and also current toys out there. Anything from Marvel Legends to G.I. Joe to Black Series, Star Wars figures, you name it, they have it. Thundercats, Voltron, anything, used and new, they'll buy and sell. No, this is not an affiliation with them. I'm just a big fan of that store. I walked in, I was like, hey, let's see if they have something here. And first thing, as soon as I walk in, I see a stack of these. I'm like, the Crow. I was like, oh, jeez, you guys got me. Here's the money. Just take it. So, looks like I'm going to need bat knife again. Hey. Bat blade, I should say. I follow someone else who already has the term bat knife, so I'm trying not to copy them. Oh, coming right on out. Okay, so the grade just hit the ground. Let me pick that up. We have a couple versions of the Crow, in fact. We have the Crow where it can kind of sit and peg right on top of the grave. So there you go. And we have, of course, the Crow with his wings fully extended, almost like he's gliding through. This one, I don't believe, can be pegged onto the tombstone. There we go. There is an extra hand on here. And I'll explain what the importance of this is. So here we are, we have the extra hand. Now you're probably looking at this and asking, what's the peg hole here? This is not a peg hole. In a part of the movie, he is actually putting his hand over the barrel of a gun. Okay? Puts his hand over the barrel of a gun. The person pulls the trigger, blasts a hole right through his hand. So that's what that is. That's literally just him holding his hand at the bad guy, scaring the shit out of him. Like, hey, you can shoot me. This does nothing to me, guys. So that's pretty awesome. We're going to take a look at his gravestone. Very nice detail on here as far as the molding, the material. A very good paint detail on here. I mean, this really looks like, you know, a dark, you know, like a grave. And they gave it a nice good texture here because in this scene when he comes back, it's pretty much raining. There's a storm and he's emerging from the grave. Just, it's insane. And it says on the stone here, just whisper my name in your heart and I will be there. There you go. In fact, I think tonight I may have to watch The Crow. just because. So here we are. We have Eric Draven with his guitar because he was the guitarist. Now, I almost want to say that this looks like the guitar looks very similar to another guitar made by Diamond Select. I mean, if you notice on the guitar here, or not by Diamond Select. Now, Diamond Select makes the guitar, or makes the Crow figure here. Now, take a look at some of the shading on the guitar itself. Okay. Now, there are a few subtle differences, but I'm going to show you guys another guitar that looks very similar. Made by, now this figure is made by NECA, completely different. But tell me, doesn't that guitar look damn close to the other one? There's a few subtle differences, but they're pretty damn close, though. What do you guys think? Pretty close, if you ask me. So here we have Eric, and you can see he's got some holes in his shirt, and that's because of that's actually the ring from his fiance. He wears the ring around his neck. His shirt is all torn and ripped because of bullet holes and stab marks from people coming at him. He's wearing his nice, long, scary, spooky overcoat. And this is definitely the Crow, and this is, I have to say, this is pretty good likeness of Brandon Lee. Now, he puts on the makeup, and this is kind of his visage, his little, persona as far as the Crow persona. Now, you heard me mention that there was a TV show. Now, TV show is called The Crow Stairway to Heaven, and in that, Eric would look normal, but then when he would embrace or pull out his dark power, his fingernails would go from normal to black, and then the white makeup and dark makeup would appear on his face when he would crow out, as it were. So, definitely adds a little bit more mythos to it. We have the hands here with wraps of his clothing on. Now, the guitar, I mean, if you want to, you can take the guitar off. It is a thing you can do here. Just a flat background, no extras, no doodads right there. But here we are. Got more detail. Chains around his legs. I mean, he was in a rock band, so I mean, he had dark, gothic kind of. It was the 90s, guys. Pretty much 9 Inch Nails, Stone Temple Pilots. That was pretty much the look back then. It was a grunge. In fact, the soundtrack is a killer soundtrack. If you love early 90s rock, you'll love the soundtrack. Speaking of which, 9 Inch Nails, Stone Temple Pilots, or as they're commonly known as STP, just an amazing soundtrack. You can't go wrong with it. Here we are, The Crow, and this just looks phenomenal. Now, you do have peg holes on the bottom, so let's test it out. Will a NECA stand support him? Or do I need to go with something a little bit different? No. Seems like NECA's going to be good. I happen to have a black one right now. Right here. I do have some clear ones. But I think the black one kind of adds to the whole Crow mystique. He's on there pretty solid now. Let's take a look at... I believe this bird has some pegs. You guys can kind of see that right there. So I can actually, should be able to peg him right onto the... There we go. So we got the Crow sitting right on top of the grave, waiting for Eric to pull himself out. Now, of course, like with most musicians, I'm going to see if we can throw this on his back. It's not that great as far as... Because I've done this on the Marty McFly where... you can have a guitar on the guy's back. I don't think that that's going to work out for him. Gonna see. No, I can. We can definitely still do that. It doesn't stand there that well, though. That's the thing. You get this little bulk of it. It just doesn't... I'm sure if I did some hot air or hair dryer, it probably would look a little bit better. But I'll tell you what, we'll just have him holding the guitar as if he's playing it at the side of his grave. There we go. That's just phenomenal. I really like how they did this. I mean, the hair sculpt on here. They kind of gave him a little bit of a sinister... I think they went a little heavy on the makeup. On the eye makeup. And they went kind of light with the lines. The lines should be a little bit thicker, I would say. And maybe a little bit less around the eyes. That's just what I'm... That's just off my memory and thoughts. I mean, this itself, it's an amazing likeness of Brandon Lee as the Crow. It's not 100%. I mean, this is pretty, I would say, 90 to 95. Accurate. Pretty good. Now, the head does move. We can go all 360 and turn him all the way around. He definitely has kind of a Joker vibe as far as the facial expression. But, I mean, in the movie, he does kind of do that sadistic kind of Joker look. I love the detail, especially the fact that he's got the ring around his neck like that. I mean, that's just phenomenal. There's a few things. I would have loved... I mean, they gave us the guitar, and they gave us, it looks like, the little jack, right, for the cord to plug into. If they could have gave us a small little speaker, not a working speaker, it's just like a molded plastic speaker. I mean, they went so far to give us an extra crow here. Now, what's weird is it looks like this could be a peg hole, but there's nothing else here unless they're going to come up with some more accessories to go with the crow. I mean, this right here, this doesn't stand on its own. I'm just wondering what's the purpose of this, unless I don't think one of these clips would fit the crow, because that would be really cool if we could have it so that the crow kind of sits right on the guitar. I just think that would look kind of badass in a way. But we'll have to take a look at this. I'm wondering if... No, it's not big enough to hold on to this. So I'm a little unsure about where that actually goes as far as this extra crow. I'll have to do a little bit of research. But that definitely looks like... It's not a mold like they broke off a piece here. I mean, that looks That looks purposeful right there, guys. So, hey, if you guys happen to know how I'm supposed to mount this on here, please hit me up. Hit me up in the comment section below. Now, if you're a horror fan or if you're an action movie fan, what do you think about this? Do you think this was a swing and a miss, or did I hit a home run here, guys? I picked them up for about $35. Let me see. This was $35.99 at That 80s Toy Store. You can find them on Facebook. I don't know if they ship things out, but you can always hit them up and ask them. They're very courteous staff. They're very accommodating. If you're looking for something, they'll help you find it. So, very cool group of people there. So, there we are. On a scale of 1 to 10, I really got to say he's a 9. He's a 9 to a 9.5. Margin for improvement. I mean, it's just, there's no instructions, no additional materials. Like maybe if they had the album, like a little vinyl piece of his album, or because in the movie there's a young girl who befriended him and his fiancée Shelley. The young girl was a fan of theirs and a friend, and she would just listen to their record all the time, the record of his band. So maybe something like that would have been kind of cool, or maybe a little poster from the band. Something extra. It's something like NECA does with a lot of their Back to the Future stuff, like throwing in a flyer, Save the Clock Tower. I mean, just small little things that really grabs us, the fans. So that's my opinion for it. So I really love this. I can't wait to display this with my other items. I'm trying to figure where I'm going to... He might actually have to go with my miscellaneous. I have a miscellaneous shelf, which right now has Todd McFarlane, Raiden, Mortal Kombat figure, Predator 2, when the Predator is electrifying with all blue energy, and I have Ash from Evil Dead 2. So, oh, and I have Arrow from Green Arrow from the CW Arrow show. So that's kind of like my miscellaneous collection. So we'll have to see. So there we are. That's our video for this week, or for this this item. I know I'm running on 25 minutes. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry. I need to cut things down a little quick. I tend to ramble on. So there we are. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. If you got some criticisms, some suggestions to make or improve these videos, please feel free to drop me a comment in the section below. Or better yet, you can hit me up at Twitter at Dave's Dimension. Also, Instagram at Dave's Dimension. Or email me at davesdimension78@gmail.com. So please keep on the lookout for more of these unboxed videos. We have some mod videos that are going to be coming through the pipeline as well. But as always, I want to thank you guys for checking out the channel, for supporting us. If you're not already subscribing, well, why not? Hit us up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next one. And I always want to say to you guys, as always, thank you for supporting the channel. And as always, keep on busting, and I'll catch you on the flip side.